Howdy, folks. It's Zach here. Today is January 30th, 2025, and this is our final leg session at 1 RIR. So it's starting to get pretty intense, and I am feeling the effects of this macrocycle for sure. That's one of the difficulties of planning increasing intensity like that, is that as intensity goes up, as I get closer to 0 reps in reserve, failure essentially, I'm accumulating more and more and more fatigue. So it becomes very daunting once we get to this 1 RIR week, and then next week when we start the 0 RIR, it's going to really get sweaty. So we're in for it, especially with the program that I've created here, especially this leg day, having 2 big, moderately heavy compound movements to start. It definitely starts to take a toll. And I guess we can go ahead and talk about what kind of toll it's taking. Talk about our markers of hypertrophy stimulus. So for that pull day on the 28th, biceps are feeling better, maybe like a 3 out of 10. So the Myo rep match, definitely going to be the strat for this upcoming pull session for this little microcycle here, because that worked like a dream. Biceps, I don't even remember the last time my biceps were sore for this many days, and especially with this intensity. So very, very happy about that. And just slapping on some more plates here to warm up some more. That's another thing, or that's something I wanted to talk to you guys about, is whenever I get into these higher intensity weeks, the warm-ups become a little bit more in-depth. I do more warm-up sets. So I ended up doing, I think, 3 warm-up sets. I usually do at least 2 on high bar back squat, but yeah, now that it's starting to get really intense, I want to make sure everything that I'm getting, all the muscles and everything I'm going to be using, are prepared for what I'm about to put them through. So I believe I didn't do any potentiation set, so this is going to be the first set here. And we did increase the load our last leg day on the 26th. I had put a note in there to increase the weight because at least 1 or 2 of the sets felt a little closer to like 2 RIR. So I wanted to increase the intensity a little bit by adding some more weight on there. So we're using 170 pounds here. And as far as performance on these bad boys, it was solid. 11.97. So we kept the same reps as our last session, but we added 5 pounds. So that's good to see. And it definitely felt like 1-ish RIR. Yeah, and you can see it on my face there. Especially once you start getting a little bit gassed, you start needing more air, you'll see I'm like taking more breaths at the top here, taking little like breaks to get some extra air in me. But yeah, man, these sets, I think after this one, I was like contemplating my life choices, basically, like sitting on that bench over there by the dresser. And it was one of those situations where I couldn't get comfortable. Like my quads were so pumped and fatigued, and like the burn was just continuous, that no matter how I like sat, if I leaned against the little dresser there, nothing I did helped. So that was pretty sweaty. But I wanted to let's see, this is the second set, so we'll watch the third set here on high bar back squat. But I wanted to launch into the main topic of today's video, which is going to be about determining weekly volume per muscle group. So what are the ways you can figure out how much volume you should do? Well, you could just go, have it prescribed for you, go look up a workout routine or something like that and just do what it says on there. But you're kind of playing with fire with that, because there's a couple of things that could happen. It's like a Goldilocks situation. You could, it's possible that you do that workout and it's perfect, goes great. It's the right amount of volume, everything's wonderful. You got all the tension and pump and metabolite accumulation and all this stuff, and then like you're super sore, the DOMS is great, and you grow muscle like crazy, and it's all hunky-dory, and good for you. But that's unlikely. More likely than not, it's going to be under-stimulative. So, oh yeah, dude, you can see it is hurting at this point. Yeah, that little pause there, that's kind of proving one of them. But how's the last set? We ain't going to look at one. But anyway, let's continue our discussion here. It could be too little volume as well, where, I think, it could be too little volume where nothing happens. You finish the workout, maybe you get a decent pump and it feels good, you like the movements, but then the next day you're not sore. The next day after that, still not sore. Nothing's going to happen. You know what I mean? And especially if you're not going really close to failure, you can pick a routine and follow the volume. If you go close to failure every time, you'll know if it's too much, because if you're going very close to failure and like you don't work out very much and you're doing 12 sets of chest, you're either going to be phoning in the reps at the end, meaning like they're not even stimulative reps, you're just moving the weight around just to finish the workout. And that's no good. Nobody wants that. Plus it wastes your time, Why be in the gym lifting heavy objects if you're not going to gain muscle from it, if you're not going to be able to change your physique, or if your goal is to get stronger, you'll probably get a little stronger, but you're going to get bigger gains by programming or having, there's a lot of good apps out there right now that can program your workouts for you. But what are the ways that I do it? How do I program? Well, I've mentioned before, my number one tip, start low, because you can make a 6-week program. If you start low that first week, you'll know after that first week. So let's say, for example, my last microcycle, I did 3 sets high bar back squat. Let's say that's all I did. 3 sets high bar back squat, that's the workout. The next day or during the workout, if I'm feeling a ton of tension, it burns in the last 5, 6, 7 reps. And it's difficult, it feels heavy in those last 5, 6, 7 reps. That's good. That's a sign it's probably going to be stimulative. And I'm going to focus on hypertrophy here because that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm the most knowledgeable about. So then, what else can you look at? All right, so that's during the workout. Now, shortly after your workout, I've mentioned before perturbation, which is where it just feels weird. It just feels off. Your muscles, like let's say we do those squats, and then about 4 to 8 hours later, they feel normal. You feel like I could go do this workout again. It was no problem. All right, well, you probably need to add volume. You know what I mean? That's an indicator you need to add volume. Another one is weakness. That kind of goes along with perturbation, where it's just like, it just doesn't feel as strong. If you tried to go do that workout again, you're not going to perform the same way. You're not as strong. You've caused, micro injuries to your musculature. They need time to rebuild. It's like when you work out, it's like you're a natural disaster coming through a town and like destroying a bunch of stuff. Well, you're not gonna like come back in and be like, okay, everything's cleaned up, right? 8 hours later, everything's cleaned up. Let's do it again. Let's break everything down again. No, that's not gonna work. Everything's crushed. You need to rebuild, and probably rebuild. That's the whole thing with hypertrophy is you want to rebuild bigger and stronger too. Maybe add some extra reinforcement so the next time you have a storm or a workout like this, you're going to be able to handle it a lot better. So that's shortly after the workout, what you're looking at. Now, 1 to 3 days later, are you sore? Is it still feel kind of weak? Like, is it so, for this exercise, for example, do my hamstrings feel so sore that I know, like, you can kind of tell if my hamstrings are still like a 6 out of 10 soreness, and I go and start trying to do these straight leg deadlifts, it's gonna feel like my hamstring is gonna tear off my growth plate like it's done before and fracture my hip. That's not good. You don't want to do that. I mean, obviously, right? No one wants to fracture. Well, there's probably someone out there that wants to fracture their hip for fun. People are interesting, but for the most part, you're not going to want to do something like that. So you're going to look at all of those indicators and figure out how banged up am I during the workout. How do I feel, 2 to 8 hours after the workout? How do I feel the next couple days? All of those things. So if I did 3 sets, and let's say pump was meh, it didn't feel super hard, and then the next few days, like later that night, I feel like I could probably do legs, or maybe I could go run or something, and then the next few days I don't get sore really, that's an indicator I need to add volume. Or you could increase intensity, but since for the purposes of this discussion, since we're talking about volume, and that's usually what I use as a way of keeping the stimulus growing, keeping the growth happening, is adding volume. And I like to do it slowly over time on an as needed basis. And then so the opposite side of that coin would be I do the workout like this one where that first set of high bar back squat just crushes me, and then I'm thinking, oh my god, dude, am I gonna be able to do these other sets? And then you make your way through them, and it's just brutal. You're like, you can't get comfortable. You need to lay down. You know what I mean? You feel like you're gonna throw up. And then the next, later that night, like you have to go to sleep early that day because you're like, oh my god, you can't do anything. You know what I mean? Your family is like, are you okay? And you're like dying and rolling around and writhing. That's probably an indicator you did too much volume, and or it's too intense. You need to dial it back a little bit, maybe pull off a set or two. Something needs to be done, and in the discussion of volume, that would be to decrease the volume. And then once you do that, if it was that kind of situation where it like destroys you, you might want to like cut the volume in half. So if you did 4 sets, you might want to try 2 sets next session when you're recovered, because if you trash yourself, it might take, I think there have been times in my life where it's taken nearly a week, like nearly 5 to 7 days to recover from a workout. If you're in that kind of situation, you need to wait till you're fully recovered and then hit it again with half volume and see how you feel about that. And then based on the other things that I mentioned about increasing or decreasing the volume, you go from there. So that's like the layman's method of adjusting volume for each muscle group. That's how I do it, and it's been working great for me so far. And there's another added benefit of doing it like that, where you're getting feedback from your body after these sessions or during these sessions, and that is that you're probably going to decrease your risk of injury. Because if you just hammer away at it, and you're like, yeah man, did 15 sets of squats yesterday, could barely get out of bed, but today's glute day, so I'm about to go hit some goblet squats and some front squats. It's like, dude, what are you doing? You're not going to recover, and you're probably going to do, like, instead of gaining muscle, you're probably going to lose muscle doing something like that. So take it easy. Be cautious about it at first, and as you determine how much work you're capable of doing, how much volume your muscle groups can handle, add from there. Don't get super duper crazy with it, or just go what Phil down at the gym told me, that he does 20 sets per body part per week, and he's jacked, so I'm just going to start doing that. Nah man, you need to figure out I'll keep singing this song till I die. Everyone's anatomy and physiology is a little bit different, and so even for exercises, what may work great for this guy might not work at all for you. So that's my philosophy on volume and the adjustments you can make there. So I kind of ate up all the the time for evaluating this footage, but I kind of want to talk about something. Of course, I'm going to keep doing my progress updates and everything, but I want to pick interesting topics for each of these workout video or workout session videos that we can talk about to maybe give you guys some ideas if you're wanting to create a program of your own, or if you're just getting into it, if you're like, it's daunting, I don't know what to do. That's the way that I handle volume adjustments. So that's all I got for you guys. That was the end of this morning session. I didn't film, but I ended up doing 3 sets of barbell calf raises just a few hours ago. I did the same thing I didn't do it last week because I forgot, but the week before that I did the calf raises in the evening. Did the same thing here. So performance was good. Everything tracked, rep wise, intensity wise. We're on the right track, guys. I don't want to keep y'all hung up on a frozen screen so I'm gonna head out, but I hope y'all have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow.